In this program, I'm going to show you how to use the if statement. The if statement is used when you have a variable that needs to be calculated different ways based on a condition. Problem, we have the tea time company. They want a program that allows a clerk to enter the number of pounds of tea ordered and the price per pound of tea, and then the program should display the cost of the tea, the shipping charge, and the total cost of the order. So what they're going to enter, the pounds of tea and price per pound of tea, are input, and the cost of the tea, the shipping charge, and the total cost of the order are your output. Now remember, for everything that's in an input column, you need to have an enter statement. So we have pounds of tea ordered, price per pound of tea, we have an enter statement for each of those. For everything that's in the output, you need to have a display statement. So cost of the tea, the shipping charge, and the total cost of the order are down here in display statements. Calculations. If there's something in output that is not an input, then it needs to be calculated. So cost of the tea is an output, not an input. We need to calculate it. We read the problem. The cost of the tea is the pounds of tea ordered times the price per pound of tea. The shipping charge. Now this is our conditional processing. If the cost of the tea is less than $25, then we're going to have a shipping charge of $15. If the cost of the tea is $25 or more, then there is no shipping charge. So shipping charge can be calculated two different ways. It can be calculated to be $15, or it can be calculated to be $0. It's a conditional statement. How it's calculated is based on a condition, and the condition is the cost of the tea. So what the cost of the tea is determines what the shipping charge is. And then the total cost of the order is the shipping charge and the cost of the tea added together. Did the desk checking for this. Remember, when you do the desk checking, check against your formulas, what you have up in your IPO chart, not what you think it should be in your head. But the pounds of the tea ordered times the price per pound of tea, that's what we have here. That's the cost, so the cost of those two is $160. If the cost of the tea is less than $25, shipping charge is $15. $160 is not less than $25. It's greater than $25, so there's no shipping charge. And if you follow through the others, they also proof out. Now, coming down to the programming part, what I did was I copied everything from the top, my IPO chart, down to here where my programming is. So I copied all my variables, I put all my variables together, and then I copied my processing. So some of this you've done before. You know how to do variables. Pounds of tea, price per pound of tea, cost of tea, shipping charge, total cost of the order. Those all could have fractional values, so we made those doubles. We followed the rules for naming variables. It does not start with a digit or an underscore. There's no spaces in the name, no special characters, and we initialized all these to 0.0 because they are doubles, and anything from input and output should be initialized to 0. So we did our input statements, enter the pounds of tea ordered. To do that, you have a cout where you prompt, and then you have the cin where you actually get the variable. Be sure as you program that you don't change your names as you go along. If you called it LBST up here, then you need to call it LBST up here. It's very common in the beginning for people to change the names. We also got the price per pound of tea from the user, our input. So we prompted, told the user what we wanted to do, and then we actually got the variable. Now we can start our calculations. This is what we did in the last example. Cost of the tea equals the pounds of the tea times the cost of the tea. Ooh, that's not right. By the price per pound of tea. So we called that price tea. Now the if statement, our conditional. I start with the keyword if, and then I have a left parenthesis. Inside the parentheses, I'm going to have my condition or my comparison. What I'm looking at is the cost of the tea. So if the cost of the tea is less than 25, that's my conditional statement. I'm going to have a pair of curly braces. Curly braces are used to mark the beginning and the end of things. What I'm marking here is the beginning of the true part of this condition. So in here I'm going to put the code that should happen if the condition is true. So if the cost of the tea is less than 25, then my shipping charge will equal 15. Now I'm going to handle the false part of that condition. I don't have to test again and say if the cost of the tea is greater than or equal to 25, because I already know it has to be. If the cost of the tea is not less than 25, so if it's false that the cost of the tea is less than 25, my shipping charge will equal 0. And then I close that off with curly brace too. So here's my condition. Here's what I'm going to do if the condition is true. Else, if the condition is false, this is what I'm going to do. So conditional statement, what to do if it's true, else, what to do if it's false. And then I have the rest of it entered, my cout statements. So I'm going to take this, and remember, if you're going to cut and paste this stuff from Word or word processing program, you need to turn off your smart quotes before you do this. So I'm going to copy that. I already made a shell for this program. I made an empty project, and I put in my comments, included my IO stream using namespace standard, and did my main function. So my basic shell that I'm going to have for every program. Now all I have to do is copy my code into that and test it. So enter the pounds of tea ordered. What were my values here? So you're going to use the same values that you used in your desk checking. So I had 20 and 8, 5 and 5, and 1 and 350. So if I use 20 and 8, cost of the tea is 160, shipping charge is 0, total cost of the order is 0. Oh, that's not good. Shouldn't be 0. So let's go and see where my problem is. So I got the pounds of tea, got the price of the tea, found the cost of the tea. If the cost of the tea is less than 25, I did my shipping charge, cost of the tea, shipping charge. Oh, well, I never even calculated the total cost of the order. So what I'm doing here is my logic errors. You have syntax errors where you do something like you forget a semicolon. But logic errors are things like this, where I just completely skipped a statement, or maybe a logic error might be telling it to add when you should have multiplied. So I have to figure out my total cost. So the total cost equals the cost of the tea plus a shipping charge. Okay, so let's try this again. And again, you should be using the same data you used in your desk checking. So, what was that? 20 pounds of tea, $8 a pound, 160, shipping charge 0, total cost 160. That's perfect. Do it again, 5 and 5. Cost of the tea is 25, shipping charge is 0, total cost of the order is 25. Perfect. And the last one. 1 pound, 350, and that's great. We're going to learn how to show that trailing 0 in the next chapter, so we can format things a little more correctly. So there you go. That's it. That's the if statement.